It is 8:30. Oops, I'm sorry. We are at the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors meeting at the Mitchell County Courthouse. Good morning, everybody.
I know, it's me. There, sorry.
It is Tuesday, October 12th, 2021, and it is 8:30, so before us we have an agenda. Do we have any comments on the agenda? If not, do we have any motions to approve?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Todd has made a motion.
I'll second.
Mike has second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Approve the minutes for October 15th meeting and the claims. So hopefully everybody has had a chance. If not, quick eyeball at the last week's meeting minutes. And if we don't have any issues, do we have any motions to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and claims.
Mark has made a motion.
Second.
Jim has second. Any further discussion?
Roll call. Todd?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
We have approved the minutes of October 5th meeting and the claims. So moving on, County Attorney General discussion. Mark, are you out there?
I am.
Yes, sir. Do you have anything for us today?
I don't have anything unless you have some questions.
Looks pretty quiet around here on the board, so thank you, Mark.
All right, thanks.
Moving on, Sheriff update. Sheriff?
Yeah, so an additional complaint on the rest of Kephart's property from Alliant Energy. He's got washers and appliances that are now encroaching on a service pedestal that they have near the utility pole. So when they come to service it, they won't be able to because of this junk. So we've tried to make contact with Russ. We haven't at this point, but we will. I don't know what good it's going to do. And we want to write him more tickets. And where are we at on the previous, rulings? Do we have those yet? Those are my questions.
I guess, County Attorney, did you hear the questions that the Sheriff has brought up?
Yeah, here's what I propose, although I don't think it's really good. But as an attorney now, I'll write letters to this attorney and see if this attorney can maybe talk a little bit of sense into him, getting those off of there. As far as I haven't seen a ruling that could also be that I missed it, but I don't think the magistrate has issued a ruling yet, but I'll check that and I'll email back to everybody what the magistrate has done. As far as writing any more tickets, it's totally up to you guys. He's in violation. I mean, you can write him a ticket every day if you want to. I don't know, maybe once we start taking money out of his pocket, maybe it will prompt him to do something.
So you're
We can I'll also get a hold of the DNR. He's got appliances over there that takes it in their realm and they'll come out and do something as well.
okay. So your suggestion would be to have the sheriff go out and write him out a ticket then?
Greg, why don't you come over to that way and let's talk about this more.
Okay, I'll also get a photo of it. It will work for me, Mark. I'll see you at 11.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I happened to see him the other day. I don't know what's going on at Hardee's. Of course, I go by his place in New Haven weekly. But he's cleaning out Hardee's, so where's that stuff going? But to his place, so, and he's not getting rid of anything.
No.
So, I mean, again, what can we do? Is he going to pay the tickets? Probably not, but I think if we get New Haven knowing that Alliance not gonna be able to work, we need to stay on him.
Is it in the road right away then, if it's interfering with Alliance stuff?
Well, I have a photo, and that, I can share that with you. I didn't make copies for everyone.
Oh, that's fine.
But that's the issue that we have now, or that Alliance has, that contacted us. This service post there, you know, so that's their concern moving forward.
Yep.
I would say he's probably in the right of way, because the utilities certainly wouldn't be in somebody's private property,
Correct.
right?
Unless they have an easement, yeah. But
So that's what kind of what we're dealing with now with him. And maybe they'll move the stuff once we get a hold of him.
Yeah.
But all he does is bring more in.
Yeah.
Correct.
It
Right,
becomes an
so-
open spot to refill later.
Right. So anyway, that's kind of what we're dealing with out there now. I'll share this with Mark at 11.
All right.
We'll come up with a plan.
Yes.
Or if you guys do, let me know.
No, I think you two will come up with a plan. Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
Is there anything for the sheriff? Does anybody have any questions for the sheriff? You were done then, sheriff?
I have, that's it for me today, yes.
Okay.
There's a coat left after our training the other day. You know by
Okay.
chance if that was one of the instructor's coats?
I don't, but I
Can you reach out to them and
yes, I can.
we don't know whose it is, so.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Department head discussion. Is there anybody here? Is there anybody online, a department head, that needs to say something? Hearing nothing, I guess we will move on to number 6, county engineer update. Richard?
Morning.
Good morning.
Got a final pay authorization for Foothill on that project. I think, did you give them the original? I'm always confused as to why the board signs these, and I know Jim and I have gone through this in our office several times because you guys authorized me to take care of final payments, but the DOT seems to always want to have the chair of the board sign it. So, what we're telling you is that the total project cost was $2,106,265.85 for that project. But the vouchers that the DOT uses are different than what we see on that back sheet. So we just need that original DOT voucher signed where the contractor signed. And then once you sign it, I can sign after that. But I'm going to recommend we make payment to the contractor for that final amount, or at least recommend signing the voucher so we can get our final documents worked through. So.
Okay. Is there any questions for the engineer on this? So, would someone like to make a motion that we sign the voucher that states that we owe $2,106,000?
That's 85,000.
Huh?
That's the payment's $85,000. The
Oh.
payment is total project cost.
Okay, well, for
Sorry,
that
I didn't
amount,
make that
excuse
clear.
me then.
Move to approve final payment for the Foothill Avenue project.
Jim has made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Mark has seconded. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Jim,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Mark,
Right.
Todd.
Aye. So, that has been approved. We shall make a payment to,
Well, they need this for their final, our audit paperwork. We don't have an audit, but just to make sure our documents are all closed out, and then we'll get the payment. That, we don't make a payment, our farm to market account makes the payment, but they need to have you sign it so they can authorize the final payment to go through, so.
good, yep. We've approved the final payment authorization for Foothill Avenue. So, what's next?
All right,
Rick?
so some project updates. Bailey Bridge, they placed beams yesterday and diaphragms, so this week they'll start putting the decking on the beams, and then I think the week of the 18th they want to bring the steel crew in and start tying steel, so they can, once they get steel tied, then they can pour the deck and backfill. So, still a few weeks out yet. The Balsam Avenue Bridge, it sounds to me like they want to mobilize the 18th and start shutting that road down the week of the 18th. Not sure what day that is yet, what day of the week of the 18th they'll be in. They're coming from my Worth County project and they're coming to Mitchell County to start working on that bridge. Hopefully that bridge goes faster than my Worth County bridge, but it's a slab deck, so it might be a little bit faster. This week, there's a culvert north of 470th, I think. North of McIntyre, north of Case Claperick Farm Systems, that needs to be replaced, and luckily the weather's going to be a little bit wet, so the farmers maybe be not in the field as much, so we can reduce the amount of traffic we're going to bother. But we're going to take that culvert out and replace that one this week. Probably saw it today or tomorrow and start removing it and get it backfilled. Hopefully it'll only take us 2 days. So just with and we won't probably put up a detour, even though we should. It's just that there's too much of the detour to go around to be enormously big, and for a 2-day closure we won't do it. So we will be having, I met with WHKS last week. We have bridge inspections, our biannual bridge inspections this year, so we'll be seeing some contracts soon on the cost for having the inspections done. We'll also have some miscellaneous contract things for some smaller bridge projects. Earlier we talked about these bridges that were being rated, and we wanted to figure out how to strengthen these bridges to get some of the ratings reduced. So there'll be some small contracts for analysis on that. I approved a small amount of money to reevaluate. I think it's the bridge north on 105, just out of St. Anne's Grove or Turtle Creek. I think there was a different analysis. They were able to find a set of plans, so they were able to analyze that bridge, and we might be able to change the posting on that bridge. So small fee there to get that reestablished or recalculated. So that's good. So we'll see some contracts come through, and also we'll be getting a contract for Hickory and Kirkwood. Now, we talked about Hickory and Kirkwood at the meeting I had last week. We did some review on what our requirements are, and I think we can probably, I think we sat down and looked at a new cross section to where we might not have to buy right away. So that'll be a nice savings to the project as well. So we can probably shoehorn this in with the right widths and everything else. There's going to only be a few spots maybe that will have somewhat of a V-ditch, but we're going to try to keep the existing ditch flow lines, like I said, so that'll reduce some of our final costs. I asked them for an estimate on the new construction methods that we're going to do, so that we can have a better idea of what we need to estimate for costs. If there's $1 million in the secondary road fund to use, then how much do we have to come up with after that, so we can have the discussion on where we want to pull the funding from. I prefer we do local money, because then we can do a local letting, and we can make the local letting fly. We don't have to wait the whole process of the DOT to do a regular letting. If we use any money other than local, then we have to go through a DOT letting. So I would prefer that, plus then the farm to market account can stay solvent, at least for a few years, before we have to borrow money again for any road projects. So FYI, when I get the estimate, I'll bring it to you guys to look at. And I'll have some more numbers to evaluate then. But we'll wait for their estimate. Just giving you an update on that. So
you won't need an answer that day as far as funding. You're just
I just want to put the seed throw the seed out there, so you guys can think about the possibilities. And like I said, I'll rework my FM spreadsheet that I gave you guys during budgeting time, just to show you what the forecast is for the funds that are going, and what we'll have.
There's no word on that federal infrastructure.
We had a meeting, our District 2 County Engineers meeting, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and there's money. The same thing. There's money. Nobody knows where it's gonna go to or whatever. So supposedly there's money, but we just don't know.
Don't know. Wait and see. Yeah.
So.
Because that could play into things too.
It can, but it also depends on what a lot of times when they like to throw that money out there. In the past, it's always been not projects that haven't been programmed, they want you to use the money for. Well, darn it, wouldn't it be nice to use the money for projects we have programmed, so we can spend the money, kick our money down the road a little bit for the projects, but don't know anything yet.
Okay, so I just thought I'd ask. Yep.
No.
Okay.
That's all I've got for you this morning.
Does anybody have anything for Rich?
Harvest looks like it's flying pretty good.
So on those two roads are considered blacktop cement or kind of tossing
That's a
between the two?
discussion we'll have.
Yeah,
but
okay, I don't know what.
Hard surface is what it'll be.
Hard
I
surface,
mean,
okay, yep.
I
That's
prefer
important
concrete.
part.
I know a few people don't like it, but
Yep.
I think the concrete will give us the best bang for our buck in the long run.
Yep, I just thought I'd ask.
And that Balsam,
Bridge, yep.
Balsam. I may make a few phone calls that I've gotten that about the farm and stuff.
Sure.
Can I throw out there the 18th or?
Why don't-
Or wait?
You can, and have them call us too. This was just a rough number, and once we know more, we'll try to, you can give me those names too if you've got some calls,
Okay.
and we can make contact with some of those landowners in the area.
I might just do that and then,
I try to send out that notification through our county engineer's website, and not a lot of people signed up for it, and I've tried to kind of put it out there so that people can, I think I even had it put on the website, I can put it on again, that people can sign up. If it's a notification for road closures when we have flooding or anything else, I can start using that map, and it sends an email out to people that they know what's happening, and it's just another tool that we have versus, and we can also use WENS, and maybe I will use WENS again when we get closer. That'll take care of a lot of people in that area for notification. But
okay.
yeah, if you want to tell them that it's not set in stone, but that's the target date, that'd be fine.
Okay.
So, and then if they have questions, have them call us.
Yep, I might just do that. then.
Okay.
Thanks.
Did you discuss cold weather operations with them?
We were looking at that. I haven't yet. I was trying to think that if we allow, I'm trying to remember how the spec reads, because I've always, and you and I both talked about it, we don't think it's fair that we have to pay for cold weather protection if they choose to start when they
I
start.
think we have to pay for it.
If, I think there was, I had Jackson reading a little bit about it, and he was interpreting something a little different about, if we don't allow for winter work, then we pay for cold weather, but if we do, we don't. So it's something I'm gonna look in the spec
Okay.
for, because I've never been on a project where we haven't had to pay for it before. So, and we're getting to that time of year where
Mhm.
it's gonna be, could be likely that
Yeah.
we do. And that's
Overnight
an
temps.
additional charge per cubic yard, which,
For putting calcium in or what?
no, they gotta heat the system. They can't let the concrete freeze while it's curing.
Okay.
If your nightly temperatures are forecast to be a certain temperature, you have to cover it. And what's
Enclose it.
goofy is we have to pay to cover it.
Yeah,
That does not seem right, but.
it doesn't,
That's the way the spec is.
but
If
that's,
concrete freezes, it has that tendency to sandstone.
it,
It
yeah,
stops
It
hydrating.
weakens it. Moisture is
You're
in it,
talking like
and
the
you have the
deck part,
freezing.
everything. If they
Everything?
pour,
Everything.
if they pour when we're at certain temperatures, everything has to be heated and kill.
Any
It's,
concrete.
Really? Even if it's in a form, huh?
yeah,
Mhm.
they have to, they'll take insulated blankets around the forms, and then they'll blast NIPCO heaters or whatever they got to keep the temperature up above a certain temperature to keep
Really?
it cured, so. And then once they strip the forms, there's sometimes a spec that says they still have to keep it covered for so many more days.
Put 1% calcium chloride in and.
That doesn't matter, there's still
Doesn't matter
moisture in it.
anymore?
There's
still moisture in it.
in the concrete.
Yeah.
You don't want that to
Yep,
freeze.
so, yeah, they may use the accelerators a little bit, not on a steel, I mean, they can use non-chloride accelerators, but, yeah, you can put anything you want in there. It's not about the set, it's about the moisture and having that moisture freeze while it's still trying to cure out.
That's
So
one
how
thing
long
to
do
heat it for then.
Don't know, I'd have to look at the
Have to
spec
look at
again,
the
it's been a
spec,
long
yeah.
time, but, I mean, I know I've been on some wastewater projects where they're blowing heat for 7 days at least,
Yeah.
you know,
I
keeping
think
everything
it's-
covered.
I think it's a
Yeah.
7-day cover.
So takes that long to cure, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
Actually, it takes longer.
Well, yeah, but I mean, for your
Concrete
initial.
never stops curing.
Uh-huh.
It'll stop curing when the cement stops the process.
It really does, never stop.
As long as there's a cement particle in that mix, it'll keep curing, as long as there's moisture in cement particle.
Move your dam still setting.
Is it?
Yep,
Must be water.
yep, as long as there's moisture in. Anyway, that's what I got.
Do we have any other questions for the engineer? Thank you, Rich.
All right, you're welcome.
Moving on, approve recorder's quarterly report, and auditor's quarterly report of fees. The total of fees was $58,617, with the county share is $25,269.26, and the state share of $33,348.32. The record of management fees is $661, so the total amount paid to the county treasurer is $25,930.26. Any questions? Comments? Do we have any motions to approve the recorder's quarterly report of fees?
Motion.
Todd has made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Go ahead. Oh, okay, I second.
Mike will second. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Mark,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
So the recorder's quarterly report has been approved. Moving on down, the auditor's quarterly report. And it says here, total amount paid to county treasurer is $2,660.08. So, any questions or comments? Do we have any motions to approve the auditor's quarterly report of revenue?
So moved.
Jim has made a motion and I can second that. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Moving on down, items of note, meetings attended.
We had a Zoom meeting with our Midwest engineering firm that's doing the HVAC system for the sheriff's office. Mike was present, Dave Harton was present, myself was present. They went through a lot of stuff. I think they have an excellent design is what they're coming up with. I'm not going to get into everything because I can't explain it the way they explained it, but a couple things is going to use 2 boilers in the sheriff's office, replace the boilers that were there, and there will be a pump installed in the courthouse that will be dedicated to cycle water from the geothermal system through those pumps, so that in real cold weather, those pumps will actually heat the field to keep it there's a target of 45 degrees that they want to target. So it'll be used to heat the whole system. And the question came up, well, what if we had some geothermal problem within the system? Those pumps could actually help heat this building and that building, those boilers. I mean, not to 70 degrees, but in emergency situations, it's going to keep things from freezing up in this building also. So I thought that was pretty cool. They are going to, the existing ductwork in the building, they'll clean it before that'll be part of the construction process. And the exiting ductwork, as far as you have air that's coming into a room and then you have exit air, they're going to try to use most of the ductwork as far as the exiting air, reuse most of that, try to. They're going to specify a water treatment system for the system. All the filtration will be upgraded to a MERV 13. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But it looks like it's
Yeah.
well thought through. I thought.
Your opinions?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job of redesigning what I know.
I had mentioned to him that it would probably be a good idea if he sat down in front of the board to talk with everybody, because rather than just me or Mike or Dave, but I'll leave that up to you guys also. I think it was going to be the 13th or 28th. Do you want him to drive up here and do that, or are you guys comfortable with our reports, or what's your thoughts?
I don't know. Maybe the first time you could come through and give an assessment.
Okay. I mean,
See a face to the name anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think that's a good thing. I just,
That would be other than a meeting day, the way it looks, the 13th or...
no, I was wrong on them dates. It's gonna be it would be a board meeting. I told him it'd be a board meeting that I wanted him to attend.
Yeah,
So,
that would work out. That would,
Okay,
I'd be okay with that.
we'll follow through on that then.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I'll have it on the agenda and he'll come out and talk technical stuff with you.
It'll go,
Kinda, yeah, but,
Well, there'll be pictures.
yeah.
okay, thank you.
They have a set of plans, preliminary plans that he's drawn up, 3D modeling of the whole system and everything. I mean, it's, they seem to definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah, yep.
I hope so. Did you have any other meetings?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
I just had that also.
All righty. I had no meetings.
None for me.
None for me.
Well, I guess we did have the one meeting, it was our shooter training
Mhm.
meeting.
Yeah, we all had that, so.
Anyways, we got advice from two different trainers who work together to give scenarios of the do's and don'ts in the event of an armed intruder to the courthouse. And they had some pretty graphic video that was kind of difficult to watch, but it's an eye-opener. And getting back to something that I want to bring up during this meeting that pertains to that is the emergency kits that we would need for in the event that that would happen here. And I think Chris Olson is probably watching. He watches every meeting, so maybe Chris and Dave could get together and come up with an idea of these tourniquet kits, just in the event. How many would we need? Would we need, one in the recorder, treasurer, auditors, assessors, the clerk of court, planning and zoning, sheriffs, probably already has them. Veterans Affairs, the conservation, the road department, this is something that isn't just gonna affect, Chris is here. We're just talking about you. Yes, sir. Come on up, sit in the chair. Yeah. Just discussing the idea about having some emergency kits in the event that we have an active shooter.
Here, yep.
And maybe you and David could kind of talk, or have a discussion and order some kits, but, make a decision as to how many we would need for, say, we've got recorder, treasurer, auditor, assessor, clerk of court, planning and zoning, services building, sheriff's office, veterans affairs, conservation, road department. If we're gonna order them, how many would we need? And then we would bring that to the board and we would vote on acquisition of these. Then the sheriff has suggested that he is available to finding someone that's knowledgeable enough to give us training on the use of these kits, because their kits are no good if we don't know how to use them. So you said about a half an hour training, Sheriff?
I think so. That'll probably take care of it. 30 minutes, depending on Q&A at the end, but yeah, 30 minutes should do it.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward, pretty simple.
That way, not only would we have the kits, we'd have the majority of the people would be trained in the use of it. The road department could have the use of that tourniquet kit, in the event of somebody getting hurt out there at the building or on the job site, maybe even. There's need for that, and there's need to have the knowledge to use that kit just right, because you don't want to use it wrong and it not work, or
possibly in the event, if there's a way where you can release it now and then, and so that extremity can get blood to stay alive. But again, this is something that we'll want to check on and work on in the future. And
Yep, so Dave and I had that same discussion. We want to do an after-action discussion, maybe a couple of supervisors, myself, Rachel, the sheriff, Dave, Paul, maybe after Board of Supervisors meeting in the next week or two. We want to schedule that sometime, and then get these kits thought a couple of weeks, ahead of time. Think of what you want to put in those kits, talk to some other counties. I'll be at a conference, I can bring that up.
Okay,
Emergency
sounds
Managers
good.
Conference, so bring some
I
information
think
back.
as long as it's after a board meeting, that we'll be able to be here.
Right.
So
And then
I'll
other
just
things
let you
too,
pick,
cameras, that kind of thing, as to what we could look at.
Yeah,
That might be a discussion here after the meeting too with CISA as to what we find out from them to do our building assessment here first off too, and then bring that to the table and talk about that as well, so.
perfect.
Yep.
Well, you and Rachel get together then with the board meeting date, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, moving
I
on.
thought that was a pretty good demonstration. Now, after all these years, I know how Jim really feels about state.
Yeah, okay. He said to be aggressive.
Oh.
So I came into the room to be aggressive, and he suggested a lady for me to be aggressive to, and didn't want to do that. I says, how about the supervisors? So that's why that, and I maybe was a little over the top, but it was one of those things, so.
They knew how to run. Jim and I have known each other since we were this tall, so. Anyways. He's always been picking on me,
Yeah.
so.
All right.
Guys, you all were running, you don't know, it might have been you.
I just had to run faster than him.
Yeah.
That's all I had to do.
I was the first one out the door. I even beat Sherry. All right, moving on. Clerk of Court report for September.
I, Stacy Olson, Clerk of District Court of the above-named county, Mitchell County, and state of Iowa, do hereby certify the following is true and correct in statement of fees collected by me in my office for the month ending September 30th, 2021. And the total is $2,675.68. Anyways, respectfully submitted, Stacy Olson.
So noted. Public comments. Do we have any public comments out there? Hearing none, with nothing else to bring up, do we have any a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move to
Go ahead.
adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Mike has made a motion, Todd has second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Meeting is open.